Hey, this is Dre with the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. How y'all feeling today? Let's do a check-in, feelings check-in. I want to starting the podcast off by doing a feelings check-in. It's so important to make sure you dump your feelings out there. Put your feelings out there so we can understand what type of podcast we're going to be having. You understand what I'm saying? When we start opening up for engagement, I want you guys to really, keep it authentic on how y'all day going. Sometimes you might, be having a bad day. Sometimes you might be having a good day, but let's just talk about it. That's what the podcast is here for, to interact. You see what I'm saying? So today I'm having a good day. It's Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers. So I'm pretty excited. I didn't really like the rain. The weather really wasn't the best. But on the inside, we still had that optimistic, vibe. So, it's Mother's Day. So, it's always that type of vibe on Mother's Day, So with that being said, happy Mother's Day. So this particular podcast, I would like to start my podcast by extending encouragement for everyone that has lost a mother. I would like to start off with a moment of silence for the people that have lost their mothers. I truly want you to understand that the encouragement is definitely there. It's not the easiest to see, Mother's Day coming and people being so, excited about Mother's Day and you having that loved one being lost. I'm here to definitely extend some encouragement. And, I truly understand I've lost my grandmother, years ago. And I've learned, honestly, a lot of people would say, extending, invitation of, encouragement. But what really helped me was time. Every year I started learning how to develop ways to still feel her presence in the midst of me waking up, in the midst of me achieving my goals. And I would say, hey, what would my grandmother say? And it's funny because I actually tatted her name right here. That's funny. Someone told me to move this mic. That's funny. That's her name right there. It's a little blurry. But anyways, going back to that, y'all, I got used to over the years her not being there, but still feeling the spirit of what she would say. And when you do that, you just say, hey, what would that person say? In the midst of everything that you do, and you start learning how to get accustomed to hearing that voice still there. And over time, you'll get, it heals. So time definitely will heal. So my prayers out to people that have lost their mothers. Mothers are definitely valuable, and we're thankful to have the mothers here. Happy Mother's Day. Really excited about that, and so I wanted to dive in it. I wanted to talk about, mothers and some of the roles of the things that they do. And in my opinion, I feel like are a little, underrated. I wanted to kind of like tap into things that mothers really, demonstrate. One thing about a mother, they have that soft touch that, they know how to give you that nature and touch to, let you know when, hey, it's going to be okay. That's very important for mothers, to be able to have that unique touch that, fathers just, don't have, so it's very unique to have that soft touch from your mom of comfort, to let you know that things are going to be okay. Mothers just have that touch, they know how to, touch the children to make them feel, hey, it's going to be okay. Just relax, And I'm going to tell you like this, when it's gone and it's not there, for a time where you have to comfort your own self, that's when you start saying, hey, you know what? What would my mother say? And then when you get back to see your mom, you get that comfort touch back and you really realize the value, and patience. Just imagine how many times we've messed up and our mother could be here to just be patient with us and to teach us the things that, we need to do correct. It's been times like that, mothers are really the MVPs of that, so shout out to the mom, shout out to y'all. So I wanted to take this time to talk about mothers and mother roles in my life, you know. So I actually, of course, have one mother and I have two mother figures. You know, I'm really picky about me personally. I'm really picky about that. I've always been that type of guy. You know, I'm picky. You know, I love my mom to death. You know, and you know, growing up, you know, I start seeing other mother roles that the women that I got connected with in that type of, you know, role really meant something for me, you know, and it really taught me some things, you know, and I want to speak on them. I want to speak on them and speak some of the things that they've done for my life that have motivated me and got me to the position that I am right now. So I'm thankful for that. So just starting straight off, because that means a lot. That means a lot. You know, it means a lot. I'm very thankful for the women that I speak about. I'm thankful for them because they definitely have made major impacts in my life. And the first one that I would like to start off talking about is my mentor's wife. So my mentor wife, Miss Bird, has really taught me a lot, you know, about myself growing up. You know, I actually had the opportunity to live with Miss Bird in the Bird family for a little bit, you know, in my years of growing up. And she always had that motherly, energy with her, you know, and it was so natural. You know, some of the conversations that we would have would be in like big time parts of my life where I was really, you know, struggling or learning a lot of things that I needed to learn. And me and her would talk, and Miss Bird would just talk to me and just give me different aspects. And if anybody knows listen, she talk. And she don't mean no harm, but you know, when talkers are talkers and they have that encouraging spirit, they can keep talking. You know what I mean? So we had that type of relationship where, you know, when it's time to listen, you know, I go and I'll be like, hey, what am I missing, Miss Bird? She'll really break that thing down. And one thing that stood out to me, you know, we talk about this. Miss Bird taught me how to be careful to not be leading women on, you know, and I was a little nervous about that because when we would have our conversation, she taught me as a mother, you wanted to be careful that you aren't misleading women. And that was tough, you know, growing up, you know, stepping into my, you know, my younger days, you know, feeling yourself. You know, sometimes we need that mother to let us know, hey, look, you know, don't be misleading women. You know, sometimes we guys growing up, we don't even realize we misleading. I'm telling you, when we had this conversation, this is one of the things that really changed my life, and I would never forget some of the stuff that she taught me. You know, some guys, we're going to talk about this in other podcasts, but sometimes we guys don't even realize that we mislead women. And she broke some things down to me in my younger days, and still to this day, I have to remind myself and be careful of them things. And she's always had my best interest consistently in years, like always, you know what I mean? And it's always been there, like at the points where I really needed it. So Miss Bird, I really appreciate it for being a solid, consistent mother figure in my life. And I don't have too many of them. So, you know, I count it an honor to have you in my life in that mother figure role. All right, so next one. This one is a good one as well. So this is my last mother figure role. Linda is my second mother figure role. I met Linda. She is great friends. She's good friends with my biological father, and at the time they were good friends. And I had met her, and when we met each other, this was years ago. Maybe about 10 years ago. Instantly, like connected. You know, I was like, hey, and it's cool because our birthdays are a couple days apart. So I was like, when your birthday? She was like, man, I was like, we both are Aries. So we both initially, I'm talking about ASAP. I'm talking about, oh yeah. So, you know, it was really cool to have her energy and see, you know, her reach out to be watching me grow up And, you know, and I remember when I was younger, I used to catch the bus to go to DC, and all my friends and family sometimes used to come with me to see how much fun I was having in DC. And I was always telling them about Linda, how we having so much fun. We can go to the house, have a good time. Linda would let me bring my friends. She would let me bring my friends. And when she let me bring my friends, I'm like, look, y'all want to go to DC and have a good time? You know what I'm saying? So I started bringing my friends. When I started bringing my friends, it started really, you know, we started connecting. One thing led to another, just years and years of me, you know, upgrading my life. You know, we going back and forth to DC. You know, it got really, really, like I started meeting all my family in DC. You know, shout out to my family in DC too, y'all. Like, they really be going hard with the support. You know what I mean? Big shout out to my family in DC. So, you know, going up there, meeting everybody, you know, they say, hey, look, man, get this together, get that together, you know. And so it started feeling like that strong bond of family. And Linda just always had that mother figure, you know, role that, you know, just was always there. Wrapping her up, I remember and she's a Cowboys fan, bless her heart, you know, so we always talk trash about that. And, you know, we diehard Eagle fans over here, so, you know, we always go back and forth about that. That's one thing we don't agree about. So anyways, so look, y'all, so I tell a story wrapping up about Linda. So I was doing a little tough in life. You know, I was doing the chasing results. I'm scrambling, catching Ubers everywhere because this is about 3.5 years ago. I didn't have a car. So I would literally have to train people catching Ubers and being homeless. People didn't know I was homeless too while I was training, right? So the Eagles played the Cowboys, and Linda was like, all right, look, Dre, I'm about to come down there. When I come down there, we're going to watch the game together at Buffalo Wild Wings. So I'm like, all right. But I knew I didn't have a lot of money, and I was homeless at the time. I was scrambling, right? But I didn't want Linda to know. So Linda came down. We watched it. So I put my gear on. I'm faking the funk, like everything's sweet. Like I'm like, all right. But the whole time I don't know where I'm gonna sleep at. No car, no nothing. I don't have nothing, y'all. Nothing, right? That's about 3.5 years ago. So Linda come down, we go watch the game. Then afterwards, when it's time to go, Linda actually had a room. She had rented a room. So I'm like, okay, she got a little room. So then she like, all right, Dre, after the game, like, you know, where you going? What I'm dropping you off. So I'm like, all right, I'm like, let me just keep it authentic with you. You know what I'm saying? I'm struggling, I'm homeless. So I'm like, I break down. I'm like, you know, man. So she like, you know what I'm saying? Just stay strong, She got a room for me that night and then the next night and just told me figure it out. So she like, Dre, you gonna be all right. Just figure it out, man. You gonna be all right. Like, we strong, we Aries. Like, yo, I remember it. And I was like homeless, y'all. I ain't had nothing. No money, no car, no crib, no nothing, y'all. Only thing I had was a couple clients. That's it. And a Chasing Result shirt. And I felt like we just encouraged each other. And she was like, yo, keep your head up. You gonna make it. We've been through this, And then God definitely still made a way. She went back to DC. I kept praying and God made a way. And my homeboy ended up picking me up and was like, bro, like, come work for me. You know, shout out to my man Thado. My man came and scooped me up and was like, look, you can come and lay carpet and then I'll let you come stay at my crib. And then that's how I end up getting on. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them people that, you know, definitely helped me out in my life. But, you know, from there, we've always been tight, you know, and Linda's definitely bought all my merchandise. But when you get stuff like that, you definitely get tied in. Stuff like that just, you know, really connect. Always been there, always been solid, you know, and stuff like that. You know, I really appreciate it. So, you know, shout out to my second mother figure, you know, Linda. I appreciate it. Yep, and I love you. You know the count. You know what's up. I love all my mother figures, and last but not least, how you say it? Let's get it. My mom, last but not least, my mom, y'all. My mom Dukes. Man, I love my mother to death. I really love my mom. I will say I am really like my mother. Me and my mom, you know, you got that one kid that's, or that one child that's really like the parent. Me and my mom have a lot of similar ways, you know. and it's really excited. I think my mom is definitely the best mom for me. I often say that, nobody else could be a better mom to me, in this world. So that's what I always say. My mom is the best mom for me. Big facts. So I'm really excited. Growing up, my mom was like treacherous, but she was soft too. You know what I'm saying? Like she was like middle. My mom could tear you up, but then she could be very encouraging at the same time. So I kind of experienced that from my mom. She was definitely there my whole life. And especially some of the things I respected in the beginning. Of her decision making skills in my life was important, and I think I'm gonna go ahead, and I use the cards, but I think I'm gonna go ahead and let jump down. So when I use the cards, it kind of give me the points, but mine, then it's better like this. So I'm gonna tell you how cool my mom is. I think the coolest thing about my mom that I respect is that when I was born, she had said that my father, my biological father, was having issues with, just being a man and having his responsibilities. And so my mom had figured, hey, I want better for my son and me. So she ended up moving. I was born in Washington, D.C. So she moves. And when she moves, she felt like it was the best thing to do for both of us when I was a kid. So in the midst of that, she ended up, meeting my stepdad, who ended up raising me, and the thing that hits the hardest is that my mom made that decision back then, not to allow somebody to hold her, where it gave me an opportunity to have a better life. And I think that's probably the um, like, man, it's free. That's probably the thing that connected the most. The fact that my mom was able to make that decision to say, hey, you know what, I want, and it's wild because when I did this, I knew I was going to tear up a little bit, and I don't know if I should do this because I'm like, yo, if I tear up, I don't want to look soft, but for real, that's why I created this podcast. I created it to be a little uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? But realistically, my mom deserves every tear because she made that decision when I was younger to provide a better situation for me. And I appreciate that. And when she did that, it gave me an opportunity to be who I am today, and that's very uncomfortable to express. When I did my rough draft, I was like, yo, man, I'm gonna be up this joint tearing up, talk about my mom. I don't want to do that, but realistically, mothers make a lot of sacrifices in the beginning, that end up helping us in the long run. And I tend to sit back and respect that, that my mom said, hey, I want something better for me and my child. Years later to see things manifested in my life means a lot, So big shout out to the moms and my mom. I love you to death. She's not perfect, but she's the best mom for me. So y'all cherish your mothers out there, man, because they, my mom kind of, she know what to say to me when I'm struggling. You know how that go. And my mom could be irritating at times. Like my mom's not perfect. My mom be blowing mine sometimes too. You know how moms are. But I wouldn't trade her for the world. She be she be knowing what to say to me. You want to get you a mother that won't always tell you what you want to hear, but tell you what you need to hear. That's a blessing too. My mom, she be cranking like that too. She'll tell me what I need to hear. So that's a blessing too. Dang man, it's whack. I'm up here. Yo, this is whack. Crying up here. But when I was doing the notes, I was like, you know what? Dang, Dre, you might tear up a bit. And I was like, but you know what? Yeah, I want to push some potency up here, man. Mothers are important, y'all. Mothers are important. So, Mom, I love you to death. I love you to death. And I will bust my butt to one day, to call you and tell you to check your banking account to be able to, quit your job. My mom is one of my biggest support systems and encouragement. And wrapping everything up, if I could talk about 3 things that my mom had taught me that I remember. I wrote them down, but I should remember them offhand. The first one was that one thing, 3 things that I will never forget my mom taught me. I used to always go in front of the mirror and be like, I used to be flexing and stuff, right? And I was like, Mom, don't I look good? I used to be like, Mom, I'm looking good. She was like, yeah. She was like, son, but real men take care of their responsibilities. And she was like, real men take care of their responsibilities and they have responsibilities. So when she taught me that and she told me that, it started, really getting on the inside and thinking like, okay, it's one thing to have a responsibility, but you have to have a responsibility and handle it. So I base my masculinity and I base my manhood off those things, and my mom taught me that early. So fellas, we're going to talk about that too in another podcast. Not just having responsibilities, but also taking care of them. Okay, my mom taught me that, and I'll never forget them. Number 2 is Number 2 is man that don't work, don't eat. My mom was really big on that, and she taught me, hey, look, if you really want it, work hard and, you can go eat. So I'm a hard worker. My dad influenced me too with that working as well. My mom was really big on and giving me that principle of, hey, look, if you want to eat, go work. A man that don't work won't eat. So, Mom, I'm eating. I'm eating, Mom, because I'm working hard. Number 3, let me see if I remember. I got it on my notes, but I'm not going to flip. The third one was, dang, man, what? Oh, the most important one. I'm sorry, Mom, that this one took me a while to remember. But the third is the most important. Always put God in my life. Always keep God in my life. I know that to be true, and in the relationships that I've had, with, the past with, God and things like that. It's always important to make sure that you have a solid relationship with God, you know what I mean? Or whoever your higher power is. Because realistically, if you don't, you aren't built to handle things automatically by yourself. So you need some sense of higher power. So I'm thankful that my mom, gave me the tool to always keep God in my life when it comes down to anything that I'm doing, because I do believe that without God, none of this would have happened. I do believe without God, you need God in your life so you can succeed. It's just no way around that. And I'm thankful for my mom for, instilling that, in my life, principle, whether you practice it or not, it's still a principle that's instilled in you. So I'm thankful for that. I love you to death, Mom. Shout out to all the mothers. Shout out and encouragement to all the ones that have lost their mothers. We are truly praying for your family and your loved ones, and understand that time definitely heals. So y'all excited about the podcast. I'm whack that I teared up a little bit. That's whack. But guess what? It's the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. That's how we coming, y'all. Do me a favor and let everybody know. And check me out. Hey, y'all, look, we on YouTube now. Oh, check us out. Type in the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. Type in the Real Uncomfortable Conversation podcast. And y'all gonna stay tuned. Have a nice day. Love you, Mom.